Hello, and welcome to the Leadership Challenge. I'm Dr. Rachel Monteverdi, and this is your brief overview of Challenge the Process and generating wins using the 9 Box tool. So wonderful, wonderful to see you here today. The first ask of you is to get a pen and paper so that you can jot down your notes because we have a lot to cover. So, specifically for the leadership challenge and challenge the process, we want to really look at what your immediate goals are with challenge the process. Perhaps I need to step things up and challenge the process a little bit more, or perhaps I need to self regulate. So, either way, we want to look at behaviors that could be strengthened, and we want to look at how we're seeking outside specifically in order to generate those small wins using the 9 Box tool. And finally, considering where might we take action and recognizing that feedback is a gift. So, how are we engaging with our accountability partners? We all know that January 1st, we have New Year's resolutions, and by March 1st, they're just kind of out the window. So, having people to help hold me accountable will be really, really helpful, as it will be for you as well. So, that you know that there are 6 behaviors for each of the 5 practices. Model the way, inspire a shared vision, challenge the process, enable others to act, and encourage the heart. This is exemplary leadership. And this is a total of 30 leadership behaviors. Challenge the process behaviors, as with each of the behaviors, are important to reflect upon and to develop a plan of action on how I really want to pursue my goals with each specific behavior. So it takes intention, it takes reflection, and it takes time to really move forward. It also takes a mindset, the mindset of, I want to challenge the process. And specifically, I want to search for those opportunities by seizing the initiative and looking outward for innovative ways to improve. And I want to experiment. I want to take risks. And I want to generate small wins like a snowball. Those small wins will turn into great wins. And learning from experience is going to be really, really important. Remember, we asked the question of you, what is outside? Do you remember that? What was outside? It's such a funny word. So, outside is the ability to look outside of ourselves and our experiences for innovative ways to improve. And we asked the question, where do those innovative ways to improve come from? Where do great ideas come from? And we had great discussion on where they might come from. But we started with reflective thought, having a regular time in your schedule to reflect, to do some brainstorming, and to deliberately search for best practices, whether it's community of practices, cutting edge technologies, emerging technologies, TED Talks, or whether I just need to spend some time with networking with those who are similar or very different from me. Searching for thought leaders on LinkedIn, on Google, TED Talks, looking at journals, management, leadership, interesting market research, looking at Gallup, Deloitte, Korn Ferry, Center for Creative Leadership, going into advisory councils, focus groups, looking at aspiring authors and podcasts, what's coming up, and who's publishing things that are new and different and interesting, looking at annual reports, coworkers, key customers, peers, mentors, and I love this one, creating a challenger value proposition and pitching it to Chat GPT. I have a friend who does this on a regular basis with great success. Part of it in recognizing, oh, I'm going to challenge the process is recognizing where I am. How difficult is it for me to actually challenge the process and to help others challenge the process? How difficult is it for me to challenge others? So, leaders know thyself and know themselves. And we want you to really answer this question honestly. If you're great at it, by the way, congratulations. It might be a little bit of self regulation. So, wherever we are, we know that it's really important to that when we're challenging the process, we've got to consider the beliefs of our team. And if our team believes, oh, this is never going to happen, that this just cannot be completed, it cannot be accomplished, it's important that we prove to the team pretty early on that taking it one step at a time, we actually can achieve a great deal. So, having key milestones, having clear achievements, especially under difficult circumstances, is going to be key. Remember, you're asking people to do things they've never done before or that have never been done before. So, making progress incrementally is key. Step by step, generating forward movement to generate those wins. The team will build confidence in their ability to deliver over time. So take it one small step at a time. Remember the 9-box tool, and the 9-box tool is in your participant workbook. We ask you to grab that now if you haven't already. And it's basically saying, this is my challenge. So right now in your head, think of what is a really big challenge that needs to be accomplished. How might you break it down into smaller challenges, and how might you look honestly at the obstacles that are going to come with that challenge? And then what might be some small wins, brainstorming those small wins and knowing that keep it simple, knowing that doing the easy stuff first, knowing that accumulating yeses is going to be really key. Experimenting, giving feedback, getting feedback, and celebrating, even if those celebrations are lessons learned. We can go with that. So down on the very left-hand side of page 110, you'll want to put your leadership challenge, the big overarching challenge. And then in each box, little bits of that challenge, step by step. Okay, this is going to be the first challenge I'm going to encounter. What are the obstacles that are going to come upon us? And what are some small wins? This might be the second challenge that's going to come upon us. What are the obstacles that are going to come upon us? And what might be small wins? And so forth and so forth. This is a wonderful exercise where you can break it down, even for yourself. So we're going to give you a couple of examples. The first is, how do we attract and retain talented, top-notch professionals when our reputation just isn't great? That is the first challenge. Well, beginning with the end in mind, the big challenge is 3 to 5 years from today, this date will be one of the best places to work in the area. And we currently, our obstacle is have one of the worst places to work on Glassdoor. That's our reputation. So how might we recognize that excellence brings excellence and help our employees to bring other employees that would be excellent and outstanding to the table, that also mission minded? Who do they know where we could bring them on board and change the culture? Speaking of culture, this is a post-COVID competitive marketplace, and our pay scales are not at market value or above. So, what might we do? It might be okay, we could secure funding. That would be a dream come true to include performance incentives. How about some flexibility? Those hybrid or remote positions. How about additional time off? What can we do there to attract and retain in this competitive marketplace? And we want to also have highly skilled professionals. And how do we do that when maybe our profession isn't considered optimal or highly desirable or trendy? So we could as create stretch opportunities to grow, to learn new skills. We could create communities of practice. We could intentionally restructure our jobs, our positions, to have more autonomy, more mastery, and more purpose. So that is one example of breaking down a massive challenge of attracting and retaining talented bit by bit by bit, considering the obstacles and also considering some brainstorming. Again, it does take that time to do this. So we want to really encourage you to schedule some time with yourself. A second challenge might be, wow, we've had a reorg and wow, trust is low. So how do we establish or build trust? And specifically, how do we establish trust with others now that we've reorged and we don't know those people on the other side? And I really don't have time, and we don't have an existing relationship, and it's not trendy to call on other people that you don't know. It's just not cool. So maybe we're going to have a 12 coffee chat a quarter challenge, and we're going to recognize those who meet or exceed this number as a team. Even if the organization doesn't adopt that, we as a team could do that. Or how do we build trust after reorg, and considering, wow, what if there's continuing layoffs and there's no communication about that? I'm really stretched thin now, and we have a broken culture. Maybe we just need to offer some listening sessions, understand vision and why vision is incredibly important at this time, and developing common aligned goals moving forward. How can we do that? So, again, it's breaking it down one step at a time. How do we build trust when there's been no communication, specifically with other individuals where I should have had communication? Perhaps my ego is going to get in the way, or perhaps there's some embarrassment. And it's really hard to make the first move towards rebuilding trust. And maybe I'm just going to reset one on one, a microculture, and say, how do we really want to be together moving forward? And what do we need in order to be that way? And I'm going to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Leaders do that. So these are just some brainstorming ideas on things that you might do. Now it's your turn to take this sheet and to break down your existing challenge and to look at the barriers and obstacles that will come upon you and then consider those small wins. As you do, we have some tips for you, and know that you are changing a culture that currently exists. So know and respect the culture. Understand who is impacted by the change, who might be supporters of what you're trying to do, and how might you build a business case. And recognizing that small wins are going to be incredibly important for your own credibility. So if you want to achieve what others consider the impossible, small wins are key, as is feedback. We know that quarterly feedback is at a minimum very, very important. And I say a minimum for quarterly because I prefer monthly feedback to say, hey, I'm working on the leadership challenge and these leadership practices, inventory behaviors. You scored me. You rated me. You were one of my raters a few months ago. How am I doing now? What are some positive behaviors and positive things that I'm doing to positively impact performance? What are some things that need to be dragged down? That need to be changed because I'm dragging them down? And what recognizable changes have you seen? Right. And we want to better align expectations for our next 360 so that we're not caught off guard. In fact, we are feeling really good about our leadership behaviors, our leadership practices, and our current leadership challenge. Recognizing that exemplary leadership takes intention, it takes reflection. So the question is, what will you do to become the best, most exemplary leader you can possibly be? Know that we are here for you. We look forward to seeing you soon. Please do call on us whenever you need us. And we wish you the very best of luck. Take care.